But I traced down the tail. I saw the tail of a snake. I went and picked an instrument and I cut off the tail. You know the poison of the snake stays in the tail? So I cut off the tail. When I cut off the tail, the snake began to tear off from the trunk of the tree violently. And when it tore off, it stood up like this straight and bent its head now to come for attack. And we were grew. And when the snake began to come, somebody shouted in Uganda, "Tufu day!" Okay? And when that person shouted that, people began to run. Then I was told, don't run, pick a sword. And I saw a sword nearby. When I picked, it said, lift up the sword. Then I lifted up the sword. As the snake is just approaching, when I lifted up the sword, a big sword came from heaven and slashed this snake from head to tail, and it fell apart right in front of us. And God, a decree was made, and a voice announced, this tree called Uganda is now free. Amen. Since Uganda was named after Buganda, there are some covenants Buganda has introduced in Uganda. And if they are not dealt with, that means Buganda's altars control Uganda. So if Buganda's altars remain intact, Uganda's deliverance is still a long story. That serpent is the invisible power that sits on Buganda's throne. Hear me. That serpent is an invisible power that sits on Buganda's throne, and because Uganda is named after Buganda, that spiritual entity also rules. There is no leader in Uganda who has not top leaders. I know these secrets because I'm a prophet. Yes. Top leaders who have never visited Buganda's altar. Yes, sir. For power, for influence, for what? That invisible serpent is an invisible spirit that rules on that throne. And I'm told one of the titles of Kabaka is Bemba Musota. What is that? What is that? A serpent. So you know the serpent we're fighting? The tail is cut. Unfortunately, by the time if the cutting of the serpent's tail finds you the reigning king, what happens to you? You die. You die.
Yes, you die. You die.
The covenants, the current war for the release of this nation. That's why any small thing happening in Buganda shakes the nation. Because the altars of Buganda are influencing a lot of things happening in this nation. Politically, economically, spiritually. Somebody can deny, but me and God we know. Yes. It's the reality. So if Uganda must change in any way, Buganda must be shaken.
Amen.
Not in the sense of making the Buganda suffer, but in the sense of dealing with the altars, yes, the age-old altars, yes, that have been there for, you know, that is the most preserved altar from ancient times, not tampered with. Most other traditions were forged recently.
Hello.
This Silu Barakari, where did it come from? I don't understand. But that one, It's from ancient times. And if we're in the Garden of Eden, you know the origin of some of those altars. They are strong altars.
Yes, sir.
Even if you were a normal person, once you are taken to that altar, you become a wizard. You become anything.
Oh, no.
If you're in Uganda, don't stone me. I'm just saying what the Lord. So God said, because of that, the Buganda need an apostolic support and prophetic support. They cannot deliver themselves because their ancestors subscribed to those altars and their umbilical cord are connected to those altars, and many of them who have tried and attempted to overthrow those altars, their ministries have been attacked, their ministries have been suffering, confusions have come because the enemy is like, your umbilical cord is right here. So they need an external person whose umbilical cord is not connected to Buganda with an apostolic and prophetic grace to come and give support to the Buganda altar, righteous altar.
Amen. Amen.
So, if you are an apostle and a prophet here, Buganda needs you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Buganda is called to priesthood. Okay? Buganda as a people are called to priesthood. If you teach a Buganda things about the altar, it's a familiar thing. Because they know it. They have already a priesthood design of culture. But for the righteous priesthood of, you see, if the righteous priesthood in Buganda rises up, Uganda cannot be challenged by any other priesthood. Because they are called for that. For us here, we are warriors. Rulers and warriors. We attack. We fight. Come to our services. You will hear, I bind you, I break you, I destroy, I uproot. You understand? Because we are wired like that. We are territorial commanders.
Yes, sir.
But Buganda is called to priesthood. But that priesthood is being challenged by that age-old altars. And Buganda has to count the number of their altars and raise up an army of priesthood to challenge those altars. And once Buganda challenges those altars, Uganda will be a nation of the wonder. Now, every church in Uganda is supposed to be an altar. Ministries in Uganda are supposed to be altars, and people have turned them into churches and celebration centers. There are particular people in Uganda here whose let me say Buganda. There are ministers from Buganda whose ministries were only meant to be an altar. But you find somebody has added a church to the altar. Or started a church and just made a small component of an evening altar where we come for 30 minutes. Ministries in Uganda are supposed to be altars. Because Uganda is a hosting place for the living God. So Uganda must raise up altars, and if possible, some people must close their churches and restore the altar.
Amen. Amen.
God will still bless you. You know why people open churches? Provision. Provision. Supply. Welfare. Survival. Some people were never in Uganda meant to open a church. If you know you are the one, go close that church. Yes, the earlier you close it, the better your ministry will flourish. Some of you are supposed to be territorial commanders going all over Africa, teaching people how to raise altars, how to build a hosting infrastructure for God, but you are locked in a church.
Oh God.
Pastoring. No wonder you can go hungry. No matter, that is why even if you open a church, God will only bring you people who come to the altar, and altar does not have many people. And that's why you still pastor 20 people for many years.
Jesus.
Because it is an altar. Never think in terms of numbers, think in terms of value and weight and glory.
Amen.
So, about Buganda, because I'm going detail there, because something is supposed to be dealt with in Buganda with the help of those of us outside Buganda. However anointed you are and you're Buganda, you are not going to confront some of those altars successfully. Because first of all, you love your king.
Hello.
You love your monarch. You love your people. It happens to all of us. If your father is a witch doctor and then you get the revelation, go and uproot him. You will think 7 times before you do it. Because he's your father. That is your home. That's where you come from. It's like uprooting yourself. The deliverer first needs to be delivered. There is a deliverer called Buganda who has an altar, who needs to be delivered. Then Uganda can be delivered. Okay. Buganda region has a priesthood mandate, but too many wicked altars have suffocated it. And without strong priesthood, apostolic and prophetic reinforcement, there will be a challenge. The godly altars in Buganda have been under attack, and many are now being silenced by wicked agents, and they're infiltrated by Satanists, and a lot of jealousy, strife, hatred, blackmail has come among them in Buganda. Buganda has not yet received a mandate to lead this nation until it has worked on that altar.
Amen.
Therefore, in Buganda, it will be the generation of the grandchildren, those who are currently 12 years old, whose generation will lead this nation into triumph. Those people are still 12 years old. They need about 20 years. So Buganda has a timeline of 20 years for them to come at the national limelight to lead this nation. I told you I'm not a politician. I'm a prophet. So the Lord is still grooming the grandchildren in Buganda. Pray for the grandchildren in Buganda to be godly offspring. Some things I will say when I'm face to face at the Buganda altar with the Buganda. It's not for your consumption. Prophecy is step by step and specific in nature. I think what I've given over Buganda can keep somebody thinking and planning. Northern Uganda, on 27th of September at 4:30 a.m., I saw a vision, an event happening on the skylines of Northern Uganda and West Nile, which drew world attention. Majority of the national and international TVs and media houses came with binoculars, cameras, telescopes, all focusing on the skyline of Northern Uganda and West Nile. And the whole traffic everywhere was paralyzed. And the headline on all TV stations and on the screen was reading, the title put there was PM Live. On the screens all over. That PM Live was an event that was to be relayed live to the world from Northern Uganda and West Nile. The anticipation was so great. And God told me, he's about to do something in northern Uganda and western. That will be a breaking news. It's a sensitive issue. I cannot go into the details because we are streaming live. And the Lord told me, northern Uganda has and western, they have passed their tests. And the Lord is now ready to fulfill his promises. And therefore pray for northern Uganda and for western. And this is what God told me. This is going to draw world attention, what God is doing here. And therefore, and God told me, how many people here are 40 years and above? Don't be ashamed of your age. Okay. And then you are 39 below. Raise up your hand. Majority. Now listen carefully. And God says, a season has been unlocked. A new season has been unlocked, and God has released mandates to people. And in this new season, it started from last year in March. 5th of March last year, a major season unlocked. And God said, those who are 40 years and above, this kind of season will only happen once in your life. The next time the cycle returns, you will not be here. If you are 40 years above, the next time such a major season will unfold, you will not be there. That means it will take a long time before the cycle returns. And those who are below 40 and maybe you are 20, you are down here, this is the time for you to make sure that for those who are younger, they have double opportunity to experience the season twice. But those of my age, they are above 40s, you can experience it once. That means